I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder, saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. It's easier to laugh at hateful comments. Persona 3, what a great game. A lot of people, including myself, consider it the best written out of all 3 time management games. All of your teammates seem to have actual lives outside of you. Their own stories keep moving no matter what you do. The Dark Hour, how it functions, how Cease functions within it without getting caught, and the eventual final battle are all better done than the other 2 games. But that doesn't mean the writing is the best in every single circumstance. Just look at some of the social links. While Persona 3 has the best ones in the series, it also has the worst, the most generic, and the most clunky, because Atlus was new at this. Persona 4 introducing friendship options with the girls is objectively better, plus social links with the male party members, that was a nice touch. Meanwhile, Persona 5 probably has the most consistent quality, with most of the confidants avoiding being completely terrible, excluding Makoto, best character with the worst confidant by far. Even then, it doesn't sink to the low, which is Nozomi from Persona 3.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
Spoilers from here on out, by the way. Here's the thing, I don't think that the ideas behind Nozomi are terrible. It's just that they were executed terribly. Let me explain. Nozomi is an overweight guy who is obviously depressed and has fallen in with a cult due to his lack of self-worth. You, as the protagonist, approach him due to his social link and spend time with him to gain the fusion boost. Even if you're not interested in him as a character, you'll approach him because you're curious and you want those sweet bonuses. The creators obviously went out of their way to make his design unappealing though, and it actually has nothing to do with his weight. You can tell that the character is not supposed to be good looking based on his expressions alone. He looks like a whiny crybaby. And then he's rude to you right off the bat, not even acknowledging you without the correct amount of charisma, and not liking you because he doesn't want to be seen as the uncool one. Not only that, he's kind of disgusting. Gourmet King should imply that he has a distinguished palate and has knowledge about all kinds of food, but nope, he just eats whatever's in front of him in the sloppiest fashion ever. And then he has a tendency to scam people out of money for a cult. Just awful. And all that isn't even bringing up the fact that he has to rush to the bathroom all the time because he makes himself sick. You can understand why there are people out there that want to beat him up, not because he's overweight, because he's a jerk. But he could have been up there with the Sun, the Tower, and the Hanged Man social links if written the right way. No, I am not kidding. I truly believe that, and you don't have to change his design at all. You could just focus on something very important. Whenever he thinks about his brother, he has the uncontrollable urge to eat. He is literally coping with his depression by filling the void with food, something a lot of people do with food or other things. If we focus on that aspect, take out the poor attempts at humor, and adjust his character just a little bit, he could be perfect for what they're trying to accomplish here. The build up to him could basically be the same, except with your charm being meant to draw him out of a sad daze. He takes notice of you, talks to you, and mentions that you remind him of his younger brother. Then when the angry father approaches Nozomi, it's because his son has grown depressed by what Nozomi has to say. Instead of being afraid, Nozomi just says that he's trying to save the kid from a terrible fate. There is no money involved with this, it's just words making the kid depressed. The father does in fact hit him, but Nozomi shakes it off, saying that it's fine. He's glad the kid has someone who loves him so much, unlike Nozomi.
First, let's get one thing straight. I'm not crying. I'm just sweating through my eyes.
You meet Nozomi several times after this. Instead of stuffing his face, he calmly eats. He just does it a lot. He lists off information about each establishment that you visit, commenting on calories, ingredients, and nutrition. Basically everything that you could need to know about food to make healthy decisions. His social link could make it so that all food items are more effective at healing you. He often notes that you remind him of his younger brother who died. He talks about how much he loved his brother and how good his brother was at everything. Meanwhile, Nozomi was only ever good with food, cooking it, critiquing it, eating it. But he did love to support his athletic brother by making him great meals to fuel him. His brother still dies from food poisoning, but it comes from Nozomi's food. That's when the light goes out in Nozomi's life. It feels like everyone wishes that Nozomi died instead of his brother, including how his parents feel, including how he himself feels. Eating is the only thing that makes him happy now. It's the only thing that connects him to his brother, the one person who loved him. As time goes on, he talks more about the cult too, how he's afraid of the fall and that he can't stop telling young kids about it because he doesn't want them to die without finding salvation. Yeah, the scamming part makes him go too far on the unlikable side. Instead, he's just trying to save his brother by saving other kids. It's misguided, but not completely annoying, especially because he's kind of right about the apocalypse.
Bleeding hearts of the world unite!
Move the confrontation with the father from rank 9 to rank 8, except this time it's a bunch of parents instead of just one. They gang up on Nozomi for scaring their kids. They start to beat him and Nozomi accepts the punishment. He's been wanting to die for a long time anyway. Nozomi's wanted his heart to burst this whole time. This causes the protagonist to step up and tell the mob to stop, proclaiming that they should leave his friend alone. Nozomi screams at you to go, but you refuse to abandon him. Seeing how depressing the situation is, the angry mob walks away and you help Nozomi to the hospital. At rank 9, you visit him in the hospital. He thanks you for being there for him, for caring for him, for valuing him. He breaks down crying because of your compassion, saying that he feels happy for the first time since his brother died. The rank ends with the nurse bringing him food, but Nozomi says that he's not actually hungry. In fact, he's full enough not to eat for days. That could be when you're unable to talk to him for weeks at a time. When he does show up again, there's a noticeable change in his character model, being slightly thinner and more cheerful.
I went on the subway diet, just like Jared. I've lost 180 pounds.
Nozomi thanks you for caring about him. He's talked with his parents and has discovered that they never felt how he thought they did. In fact, no one actually wished that he was dead. It was all in his head. He just couldn't pull himself out of his depression. He thanks you, noting that you're now his honorary younger brother. But he says that he won't be able to hang out much anymore because he's dedicated to getting healthy. Plus, he wants to go to culinary school, working as a chef, critiquing food, and acting as a nutritionist. He wants to write books to help people with food and through their depressions. Nozomi wants food to be a joy in people's lives. He leaves by giving you a rough draft of the first chapter he's written, but when you eventually see him in the last days, he's completely fit, he's groomed himself, he's happy, he knows that he's excited for the future, and will dedicate everything to both you and his younger brother. He notices that you're a bit pale and offers to take you out to a meal full of nutrition. When a group of friends and his new girlfriend arrives to drag him off, he realizes that he's already made plans. Apologizing, he asks to eat out again with you, just the two of you, tomorrow on April 5th.
Hey, who left this bowl of onions here?
There were many positive changes in Persona 3 Reload. Voice acting for every social link, giving you more things to do at night, having link moments with the male party members of C's, and for the most part, I'm happy that they didn't change too much with the writing. But I think Nozomi and the Moon Arcana might be the one thing everyone would have been happy to see fixed. Either that or have Shinjiro be the social link, like in Femsi. Remember her? Well, Atlas sure doesn't. Like I said earlier, there were a lot of good ideas with Nozomi. It was just the execution that was piss poor. And if they can change the woman on the beach, they can alter this one too. I get that part of the point was to test how much someone really wants to 100% everything, but spending time with Nozomi was worse than pulling teeth. He could have been great. Instead, he's just remembered as perhaps the least likable Persona character ever. Well, except maybe Kamoshida. But even then, at least Kamoshida didn't chew with his mouth full right in front of me. Ugh. You're welcome to disagree with me. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
I hate you!
Hey, do you like stories about an interconnected world? Then consider giving my LPCO books a try. They are all connected in some way, but you can jump in at any point, unless it's a series. Then you have to start at the beginning. But I got 3 books out right now and 3 coming next year. You will not have to wait long for content. Either way, thank you. I appreciate you. Do not despair.